Bienvenido. Gracias for listening to our presentation cultural. This presentation is by Braccini and Deanna Cangemi. Escúchame. We will be discussing the presence of obesity in the Hispanic community, common causes, and what our patients can do to reduce their weight. We hope you enjoy this presentation.
There is a debate among professionals as to whether this increase in obesity is related to genetics, diet, or culture. Regardless of the cause, later in this presentation, we will discuss healthy habits that can improve their health and help reduce excess weight. As you can see by the statistics provided through data available on the Office of Minority Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Hispanic Americans are typically more obese than their non-Hispanic white counterparts. Among Hispanic American women, 77% are included in the overweight or obese category. 64% of non-Hispanic white women are in the same category. In 2015, Hispanic Americans were 1.2% times as likely to be obese than their non-Hispanic white counterparts. From 2011 to 2014, Hispanic children were 1.8 times more likely to be overweight as non-Hispanic children, and from 2015, Hispanic women were 30% more likely to be overweight as compared to non-Hispanic whites. Let's go over a list of important vocabulary words related to obesity. It is important to be familiar with Spanish words related to your patient's current condition, and in this case, obesity. Obesity. According to the CDC, weight that is higher than what is considered as healthy weight for a given height is described as overweight or obese. Body mass index, or BMI, is used as a screening tool for overweight or obesity. A BMI that is greater than 30 is considered obese. BMI, body mass index. Body mass index is a person's weight in kilograms divided by the square of the height in meters. An high BMI can be an indicator of high body fatness. Diet. Diet can mean different things to different people. In our case, diet means to decrease the amount of caloric intake for the sake of weight loss. Carbohydrates are sugars and starches that provide the energy we need. There are two types of carbohydrates, simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates are used up very quickly in the body and are usually the cause of that afternoon slump. On the other hand, complex carbohydrates take longer for the body to digest and are most commonly found in vegetables, whole grain breads, pasta, brown rice, and beans. Protein. Proteins are large, complex molecules that play many critical roles in the body. They do most of the work in cells and are required for the structure, function, and regulation of the body's tissues and organs. Healthy weight. Healthy weight is a weight range that is appropriate for a person's height and taking into consideration that they are male or female. A healthy weight in relationship to a BMI and equals a range of 18.5 to 29.4. Exercise. Exercise is any activity that requires physical effort and is carried out to improve or maintain fitness status. According to the CDC, Americans need a total of 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week and 2 or more days per week of a muscle strengthening activity. Diabetes. Diabetes is a chronic disease that affects how your body turns food into energy. Most of the food you eat is broken down into sugar, also called glucose, and is released into your bloodstream. Your pancreas makes a hormone called insulin, which acts like a key to let the blood sugar into your body's cells for use as energy. If you have diabetes, your body either doesn't make enough insulin or can't use the insulin it makes as well as it should. If left untreated, over time, it can lead to serious health problems, including heart disease and kidney disease. Blood glucose. Blood glucose is the end product of carbohydrate metabolism, and it is the chief source of energy for living organisms. Its utilization is being controlled by insulin. Cardiovascular disease is a disease of the heart and or the blood vessels in and around the heart. Cardiovascular disease can be accelerated by patients with elevated glucose or uncontrolled diabetes.
Are you timing those?
What is obesity? Obesity means having too much body fat. It is different from being overweight, which means weighing too much. The weight may come from muscle, bone, fat, and or body water. Both terms, obesity and overweight, mean that a person's weight is considered greater than what's considered healthy. As we've talked earlier, body mass index is a way of measuring body fat and weight, and it uses a formula to calculate the amount of mass a person has, which includes muscle, fat, and bone. And again, the recommended BMI for an adult is 18.5 to 24.9. Obesity occurs when you have a caloric surplus, meaning you're eating more calories than you are burning off during the day. Each person is different in what their caloric needs are and will need to adjust their meals and exercises and plan accordingly. According to Medline Plus, obesity increases your risk of diabetes, heart disease, stroke, arthritis, and some cancers. If you have obesity, losing 5 to 10% of your weight can delay or prevent some of these diseases. For example, that means losing 10 to 20 pounds if you weigh 200 pounds. Among the Hispanic population that have migrated to the United States for less than 10 years, 6 out of every 10 migrants are categorized in the overweight or obese category. For those migrants in the United States for greater than 10 years, the rate of overweight or obesity increases to 8 out of every 10 migrants. The unhealthy weight gain among migrants appears to be in direct relation to the number of years post-migration. This could be related to the immersion into the American culture and the gradual exchange between the Hispanic attitudes and behaviors of the American culture. The evidence pointing to an increase in obesity of the Hispanic population is directly related to the increasing availability of processed foods in their diet. Processed foods can also lead to other complications of obesity, one being diabetes. Migrants are replacing the more nutritious options of their traditional diet in favor of these processed foods due to their affordability and prevalence in the United States. The prevalence of smoking among Hispanics born in the United States is higher than those foreign-born. The breakdown amongst the subgroups are Puerto Rican, 28.5% are smokers, Cuban, 19.8%, and Mexican, 20.2%. Smoking is another habit that increases in prevalence as there is an increase in acculturation to the United States. Physical activity is a major risk factor for heart disease and other chronic diseases that disproportionately affect the Hispanic population. Mexican Americans are the largest subgroups of Hispanics that have an increased prevalence in inactivity. It has been noted that the amount of physical activity also increases with the migrants' increase in acculturation to the United States. Another cause of obesity is the decreased access to health services for the Hispanic community. According to the United States Census Bureau, 1 out of every 6 living in the United States of the Hispanic origin, which makes up 1/3 of the country's uninsured population, makes it harder for these migrants to have access to health care. Complications related to obesity. Obesity can cause many different issues, such as high blood sugar, which eventually can progress to diabetes, hypertension or high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, which is high blood cholesterol, heart attack that can be caused by coronary artery disease, heart failure, or stroke. Other issues that may occur include joint and mobility issues, where an obese person may be unable to go about their activities of daily living without difficulty. Higher abdominal fat levels can also lead to sleep apnea, where a person stops breathing for a period of time while sleeping. Gallstone and liver issues and some cancers are also potential complications of obesity. Hispanic adults are 1.7 times more likely than non-Hispanic white adults to have been diagnosed with diabetes by a physician. In 2010, Hispanic women were 1.5 times as likely as non-Hispanic white women to die from diabetes. Typical diets of the people of Mexico and Central America are similar in ingredients. The differences in the diet among this population lies in the preparation of these foods. Some of the nutritionally dense foods that are available regionally include avocados, pumpkin, locally grown greens, guavas, mangoes, plantains, and tomatoes. Traditional method for preparation of maize involves boiling and soaking the dried maize in a solution made from lime and water. It is then ground to form a soft dough called masa. The masa is then shaped and cooked over an open fire on a metal or clay surface as tortillas. Beans are generally boiled with seasonings and served in the liquid or refried. The meat, along with poultry and fish, are prepared by local recipes made from thin soups or a thicker version of stews. The meat may also be grilled and are usually served with a variety of salsas. The salsas made are based on the availability of the local tomato, tomatillo, onions, chilies, cilantro, and other local seasonings. The traditional Hispanic diet is a nutritionally complete diet that is well matched to fit into a healthy lifestyle. It is excellent in that it offers the appropriate amount of complex proteins, fiber, and multiple vitamins and minerals. Problems tend to arise with the diet as the cultures of American and Hispanic foods begin to intermingle. The Americanized version of these foods tend to use more processed foods and flour tortillas in place of the traditional corn ones. This will make the traditional Hispanic diet less healthy, more calorically dense, and contribute to the obesity problems. Aside from healthy diet changes, the best way to lose excess weight is to participate in exercise. Adults should participate in at least 30 minutes of moderate activity 5 days a week. This can include things like walking, hiking, swimming, group exercise classes, or weight training. It is important to start slowly, increase your time and intensity as you go along to prevent burnout and injury. For the Hispanic population, community-based interventions were the most prevalent, which makes sense when targeting the Hispanic population, as it has been reported that a sense of community and social support are extremely important within their culture. It is also important to stay motivated, especially with a new exercise plan. So, finding a workout partner can greatly increase your likelihood of success. Ingrained into 65% of the interventions was the idea of social support. Within the Hispanic population, social support is described as having a friend who is supportive, knowing people who exercise or seeing people exercise, or being involved in a group exercise activity. Interventions which built on the assumption that social support has been identified as a strong motivator of physical activity found success, and 60% resulted in an increase in physical activity levels. Healthy diet, as discussed earlier, what is important for the Hispanic population to remember is to keep their traditional diet and avoid the pitfalls of the American diet and processed foods. Aside from diet and exercise, there are other healthy habits that can be implemented to help reduce obesity and improve health overall. Stop smoking. Smoking is very harmful, causes a variety of comorbidities, and may contribute to the lack of exercise due to the impact it has on one's lungs. Socioeconomic impacts Many Hispanics communities are in higher crime areas or where transportation is not readily available. We can greatly benefit our patients by providing them with educational and exercises they can do in the comfort of their own home, or provide them with information on community-based centers in the area in which they live that may offer classes specifically for weight loss. In conclusion, obesity is a highly prevalent topic in our society, especially for those of Hispanic descent. By proper education, improving diet, and exercise, we can begin to see a reduction in obesity in the near future. Thank you for joining us as we learn more about the prevalence of obesity within the Hispanic community. We hope that this presentation has made you more aware of the needs to our Hispanic patients for more education related to their weight and health, and will help them find solutions presented here useful. Please feel free to ask questions or start discussions about this topic. We have enjoyed presenting and learning this topic to you. Muchas gracias.